Hey guys, welcome to week 2. Look forward to Chuck in the Kitchen this week, an interesting story, and maybe a surprise interview.
Yeah, we have a lot of cool things planned for this week, so I really hope that you guys enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, let us know on Sunday. The land of Israel.
Bad angle.
The land of Israel had been in a long and harsh drought for 3 years. King Ahab was starting to get worried that there wouldn't be rain and that the crops would all die. This is where we see Elijah, in his home, just relaxing on a totally normal day. Go, present yourself to King Ahab, and tell him there will soon be rain.
Off in Ahab's palace, Ahab summons his administrator, Obadiah, who loved the Lord and helped his people.
Go, search for springs and search for valleys so that we can find grass to keep our horses and donkeys alive.
Obadiah leaves the palace in search of fresh water, and while walking spots Elijah out in the distance.
Is that you troublemaker of Israel?
I have not made trouble in Israel. You have. You and your family. You guys have been making prophets of Baal, but I've been following the one true God the entire time. Now gather 400 prophets of Baal and meet me on Mount Carmel. How long will you guys waver in between two opinions? If you think the Lord is God, then follow him. If you think Baal is God, then follow him. Now what we're going to do is gather 2 bulls and let the prophets of Baal choose their bull, and I'm going to choose my bull. Let them cut it into pieces. Let them put firewood under it, but do not light the fire. We're going to see whose God answers with fire. Let them call upon their God and see what happens, and I will call upon my God and see what happens.
The prophets of Baal prepared their altar and danced around it. Later, they started to call out the name of Baal.
Shout louder. Maybe he's deep in thought, or traveling, or maybe just sitting on the toilet.
So they shouted louder and slashed themselves with swords and spears, as was their custom, until their blood flowed. Midday passed, and they continued their frantic prophesying until the time came for the evening sacrifice. But there was no response. No one answered. No one paid attention.
Come, follow me. I'll prepare my bull over here. I will repair the altar. We're going to put 12 stones, one for each of the tribes of Israel, just around it. Now, we're going to dig a trench all the way around it, just to fill it with seed. And now, take 4 jugs of water and just pour it into the trench, so it just becomes full.
They poured 4 large jugs of water on the altar, a whole 3 times, so that 12 jugs of water were poured on in total, one for each of the tribes of Israel. And then Elijah prayed,
Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God, and that I am your servant and have done all these things in your command. Answer me, Lord, answer me, so these people will know that you are Lord God and that you are turning their hearts back again.
When Elijah was done with his prayer, the fire of the Lord fell and burned up all the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and the soil. It also licked up all the water in the trench. All who saw knew that the Lord was the only one God, and the rain returned to the land of Israel.
That was a pretty good story. I loved how the story started with a challenge. In our lives, we can use stories like these to learn what to do and what not to do in the face of adversity. God will put challenges in front of us, and he'll teach us to learn and grow in our personality, our skills, and our relationship with God. I loved how in this story, Elijah was quick to obey God and to set up an altar like this. This, I would think, would be an insane request, to light a pile of wood and just put a pile of wood on the ground and just expect God to light it. And on top of that, he put water on top of it. Now I know one thing, and it's that wet wood doesn't burn. I tried doing it once when I was younger and it just didn't work. But in this story, it worked. God had a massive fire coming down from heaven and it just lit. That's insane to me. Now there is a lot of doubters. There's like 450 Baal prophets. Thomas, what does that mean?
So no matter how many people doubt in God, you know that he'll follow through with what he promises.
Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode from Chuck in the Kitchen. Today we're going to be making cornbread. I got all the ingredients laid out on the counter here, so let's just get started. We got some all-purpose flour. We're going to just add 1 cup to the mixing bowl. Oh no. We're going to continue by adding 1 cup of corn flour. Oh yeah, perfect. And we got Thomas in the chat. Let's go! 1 tablespoon of the fine baking powder. I love adding baking powder because it's just so smooth. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now that we got all these ingredients, we're going to mix them together. Now we're going to find a mixing bowl. Hey, come on. Where's my hat? What's that? So we got my hat, and we also got a cup of 1/2 and 1/2. Now we're going to continue with 1/4 cup of butter. Look at that, looking good. Now we're going to mix this wet ingredients with the dry ingredients and mix it all up. This is looking good already. We're now going to add 1 cup of corn and just add it in. Oh, it's looking so good. Look at this. Now that we got this all mixed up, we're going to add the butter to the pan. We're going to just spread it around with our hands to grease it all up. Looking good. Now that we got the pan greased, we're going to add the batter. Oh, hi Thomas, how's it going?
Oh, good. Looks great, Evan.
It sure does. And who?
Oh, I'm sorry, Chuck, from Chuck in the Kitchen. I thought you looked like my good friend Evan.
We're gonna spread it out with a knife. And now I'm gonna go home and put it in my oven. Hey guys, we're back. We put this in the oven for 25 minutes at 400 degrees Celsius. I didn't show you guys that part, but it's okay because you'll probably get your parents to do it anyway if you choose to do the recipe. If you guys choose to do this recipe, there's going to be a link at the bottom of this video for the recipe of the cornbread. So let's just cut this up and have a bite. It's still going to be really hot because I just took it out of the oven, but that's okay because I'm so excited to try it. Oh no, it's falling apart. That's alright, I'm just going to have a little bit of it. Oh, it's too hot. Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Chuck from Chuck in the Kitchen. See you guys next week.
So, Brock, what's your favorite food?
Pasta.
Pasta. What do you do, Brock?
I help lead the senior youth.
Outside of church, what do you do?
Help lead the senior youth. I plumb.
You're a plumber.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the senior youth, how do you think that you as a church leader have affected the lives of the senior youth?
I'd like to say I'm a good example. I'd like to say I'm someone they can go and talk to whenever they have problems or need advice on something.
What's your favorite thing to do after church?
Play basketball.
Speaking of basketball, score. Hey. Okay, last question, Brock. Richard's jokes during sermons, yay or nay?
Yay! Always yay.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Exactly. Boom. We did it.
Nailed it.
Boom. First take.
Definitely.
Yep. You didn't struggle